If you're tired of the standard business and marketing fundamentals, frameworks, and funnels, you need a little mischief. Get ready to turn up the volume on the CEO Mischief Maker podcast, where you access conversations with seasoned business owners who have smashed through mindset barriers, innovated the standard boring business and marketing playbooks, and executed future-paced strategies with bleeding-edge tools and tactics to micro-fail their way into massive success and growth. We are Mindset Impact Strategic Catalysts helping innovative entrepreneurs focus. We are CEO Mischief Makers. Ready to make a little mischief? Hey, CEO Mischief Makers, MKJ here, and I hope you're enjoying my conversation with Jessika Phillips. I'm telling you, she and I are so aligned on so many things. I'm just so happy that we were able to chat and she was able to share some pretty incredible information with you. And one of the things that she's sharing with you, if you would like, is her care approach, her care focus. Now, you've probably heard her say she wants her company to be the most caring company. And that's, yes, she wants to be caring, but it also stands for something. So if you go to callmemkj.com/care, CARE, you can get her complete workbook so that you can take your company and have it be the most caring company as well. And CARE stands for C is capturing the attention of your ideal audience. A, articulating your message clearly to become known. R, relationships for repeat referral business. And E, my favorite, experiences that are memorable versus simply transactional. So CARE stands for something. If you'd like to go through this process and use her workbook to make sure that you are the most caring company you can be, and she will take you step by step through that process so you can use each of those acronyms, each of those focuses to make your company the best it can be. I hope you opt in. Again, callmemkj.com/care. CEO Mischief Makers, welcome back to the conversation with the incredible Jessika Phillips. Hello there. Welcome back. I cannot wait to dive in.
Me too.
I know.
Just get started.
I know. So, and if you have not listened to our first episode about mindset, I highly recommend that you go do that, because we're going to take up and continue on something Jessika just said toward the end of that episode, which is listen to yourself. So when you talk about that, first off, let's go back to impact and start there, because I have a feeling I know who you want to impact, but I want to hear it from you. Based on the story you told in the last episode, I can understand kind of what you want to provide for your employees and also your clients in your agency.
Mhm.
But really, who are you trying to impact?
Yeah, I would say I'm trying to impact really the way business is done. So all of us at the end of the day, because I think all of us are in business in some regard or another, whether we're working there or we own our own, and those that we serve, right? So like I said, my personal mission is to help people love more, give more, and be more through the art of authentic relating. And my big overarching goal is like to get people to think differently about business and put relationships at the forefront of business and marketing through those that are working with me, for me, and who we're serving, because I feel like every action that we have, an interaction that we have with others, has a ripple effect. And we can truly show up to outcare is our manifesto, the competition, and help others do the same.
Yes. And when you were talking about in the last episode, you were talking about how you were able to really clearly make the decision from just trying to find another company that might embody those ideals that you had versus starting your own. And one of the things you specifically mentioned was you came from that place of this is just going to happen. You had a grit, you had a determination, you had a perseverance, and it's just going to happen. I had the very, very similar situation with pregnancy. I was 8 months pregnant with my second son, and I fell and broke both my legs.
Oh my
And so I
goodness.
had a cast up to the knee on both legs. and I could do nothing. Nothing. I
Mhm.
and Same exact situation, hard
Mhm.
charging breadwinner, and I'm sitting on
Yeah.
the couch.
Yep.
It's just like how I had no skills to deal with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I no ability to deal with those emotions that I was having.
Uh-huh.
But through that process, basically same thing. I was like, I had the
Mhm.
time to sit and listen, right, and try and figure this out after I got over the initial depression of the fact that I can't even take a shower or bath or wash my hair or right,
Oh man. Yeah.
carry my son, right? I can't carry my son. I can't do it. Was just
Mhm.
funny now, but not then. um,
Not at all.
but
Yeah.
I went through that and it did the same thing. I was grabbed by the throat by
Mhm.
the idea that I'd had after I got pregnant with my first son that I didn't do anything about. And all the planets aligned to allow me to actually fulfill that goal. And like I said, it was by the throat. It was not a
Yep.
choice.
Yep.
It wasn't accidental. It was, nope, I am doing this. That is
Mhm.
just the way it is. But
Yeah.
part of that was not just my grit, but who I was and what I brought to the table.
Mhm.
So in your situation, when you talk about, you suggested to the audience, dig deep, think, look
Mhm.
internally to who you are, because marketing agencies are marketing agencies. We
Mhm.
market for people, or we
Yep.
do the marketing for people. But what you bring to that is how you innovate
Mhm.
marketing. So talk about that a little bit. How you've talked about your manifesto and you want to out
Mhm.
care. I love that. Absolutely love that. How do you incorporate that into your marketing though, in terms
Mhm.
of when I come to you as a client, how are you innovating marketing for me and my business?
Yeah, I allow the client really to take that same pause, honestly, because you're right. I think we all have these moments in our lives and opportunities that the universe, God, whatever you want to say, brings to us where it's like, hey, here's a pause. I'm trying to show you this. You're really trying to show yourself, right? All of us inside have the answers, but sometimes we don't take the time to listen to them. And so there's these moments and opportunities where if we just pause and ask ourselves the question, we already know the answer. We just have to give ourselves permission to listen to it and take action on it. So I'm 100% in agreement with you that it doesn't matter what you're doing, marketing, if you have a product, if you have a SaaS company, it doesn't matter. There's somebody else that does the thing that you do regardless of what niche of a business that you're in. But there's nobody that does it the way that you do it. So it's not about what we do, it's about how we do it. It's how we do it, how we show up, and how we're making people feel. It's the experience that we're providing. And studies have shown, I'm a huge fan of data too, but data mixed with psychology. So psychology and facts together is that the number one reason somebody's going to choose one brand over another is all based on experience being a verb. Experience is a verb. It's how we're making people feel. And the only way to make them feel something is by truly showing up in who you are and in how you want to build a rapport with someone, how you're making them feel. So how we are innovating and how we're showing up with clients to do just that is that we take first them through this process of pausing first, because you don't want to just add another tool, another thing. There's no shortcuts. You can't buy community, you can't buy relationships, but it's pausing first and having them ask themselves the same question. Okay, if we started from the inside out of your brand and why you got started, what gets you excited, it's not about your product or your service, but your message is bigger than your product or service. Like, what is at the core of what you do? And then who are you here to do it for and with? And then when you start building these layers of, how you want to show up, it creates a flywheel effect then of growing your business. And that's the whole care approach. So we take them first through the discovery process of saying, okay, what is it that we really believe? What gets us excited? Then we create their manifesto for them and with them of, it doesn't matter, like we've worked with a water bottle company, which I know you were in the audience for social media marketing world when I shared this story, where I was like, okay, you're not a water bottle company though, because that's anyone, right? Because then you're just going to be competing on price. But what are you really here to do? And like they got to the core of their messaging, which is that we're here to help people live an extraordinary life. the husband of the owner, he was like a rock climber and really extreme, like, active, and he loved doing, runs and things like that. And the owner, of his wife, she was into like women empowerment and getting them excited about life, and women CEOs and things like that. Together they were energized by helping others live their extraordinary life. So their water bottles, yeah, had like fun motivational sayings and stuff on it, but when they fully embodied their core of what they're here to do, not only did their products and their brand expand, but then they knew why they were coming in each day. So then their messaging became clearer on how they wanted to show up. Their visuals that they're putting out in their marketing became clearer, right? Who they wanted to serve became clearer because they knew exactly who they're trying to talk to. Because in business, we're all trying to have a relationship with someone for a transaction, but more so a relationship with someone for the community, right? The sense of belonging of who's going to do business with us, for us, and be a cheerleader for us, and growing that word of mouth to world of mouth. And the only, if we think of the greatest brands that have this loyalty community around them that advocate for them for free, it's the brands that are really crystal clear on who they are and who they're showing up for. And people know, like, hey, this is who I belong to. These are my people, and I'm going to stay loyal to them because by choosing them and buying from them, it says something about me. So we think of like the Apples, the Whole Foods, the Toms shoes, the people that really are crystal clear on who they are. It's because they have heart, right? It's the way they make us feel that it's really hard to even articulate why we love them so much, but we do because it says something about us. So where we show up as Now Marketing Group is helping bring that out of the people that truly care and that really have that same belief of, I'm in it for the long term. Like, I want to grow something that's meaningful and legacy based versus just getting sales. I like to say it's like becoming this magnet of a business to get people to stick with you longer and connect with the right people versus just being a bullhorn that's like, I just want to blast a message out and get quick sales. I don't care if they're one-off ones. That's how we show up to do things differently because we think differently about marketing. I don't think about sales funnels. I think about flywheels and long-term feel business you feel good about and that you get excited about, and you outcare, the
Mhm.
competition.
Oh my goodness, yes. Have you read the book Play Bigger?
No,
You're
but I will
talking
add it.
exactly the same thing. It's an amazing book, and it's Play Bigger. It's written by three guys. I remember one guy's name, Christopher Lochhead. And what you're talking about is creating a category. So Tom's is a category, Amazon is a category, Apple is a category in itself, and everyone else who builds computers or computers like
Mhm.
Apple chases Apple. And everyone who has
Yeah,
an online store that wants to sell everything to everybody chases Amazon. And
yeah.
they are the category kings. You are the category queen of, if you don't mind me saying that, because I think queen, I think of chess playing. So that's why I think
Yeah,
of
I
kings
like it.
versus
I like
queens. I want to be the
it.
queen, not the king. The king just sits there and waits for somebody to rescue him, right? In chess, we have all the power. So the queen has all the power. So it's really that category queen that basically everyone else chases because you know who you are. You know who you serve and you know how you serve them uniquely in a way that they want, that they need, that they are just
Mhm.
hungry for. And that is innovation. That is everything we do because there's nothing new. Even AI, right? Yeah, it's all the rage, right? Everybody's talking about it. Mark Schaefer, we both know Mark Schaefer. I wrote a chapter in his next book and it was about AI. So yeah,
Yeah.
and probably the chapter itself, I'll have to update it. It's 10 tips on how to use AI for small businesses, but I'll probably have to update it within 3 months, right?
Mhm.
Because things are
Yeah.
changing so fast. But the tips that I suggested and shared are very useful in the way of how to use AI, not what AI is, because that's
Amen.
changing constantly.
Yeah.
But with Mark Schaefer, getting back to that, he just wrote a book belonging to the brand in the community, and you are referenced in that book. You are
Mhm.
showcased in that book. So talk about how you have innovated community in that way, because really business is not transactional anymore. It is
Yep.
not just putting a commercial on the Tonight Show and having a bunch of people see it and then go buy your thing. It
Yep.
is really creating a community around who you are, what you do, and who you serve and
Yep.
how you do it. Everything you just said. So now taking me to that community innovation.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm amening everything you said, and I love Mark Schaefer as well. So I loved reading what he had wrote in the book because I believe exactly what you said. It's not about the tool; it's about our technique. And one technique and approach that will never change is the golden rule, right? Like treating people how we want to be treated. And just that sense of belonging. It's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, so that's one thing that's never going to change as everything else evolves. At the end of the day, if you do truly know who you are, who you want to show up for and with, and truly do so with heart in something that you believe in, because you can't fake passion. People feel that they can tell it who's legit and who's not. And if you show up in that way, you will surpass everything else, right? You will, doesn't matter if the COVID comes, new technology comes, it doesn't matter. Now, granted, you do have to innovate, like you have to keep up with things that are happening, which is all about how can I provide ease of access to people? How can I show up, with speed as well and the timeliness of what they need? But at its core, it truly is about getting that foundational thing right first. So I always like to say start from the inside out. So with the conference and how we've done this and helped clients kind of look at their thing the same way is once you get those foundational elements right, then look about out and see what can I do to bring more of my community together and help serve them in a way that allows them to feel empowered to go out and keep spreading the message, spreading the word about us. When it comes to the conference, what I did is I realized there was nothing in our community. One, at the time when I first started Now Marketing Group, by the way, in 2010, social media was kind of laughed at around here. And there's still some people that are just now getting on it. I'm in a very small town. And I realized I couldn't go door to door and talk about our service that I was offering. And, so I had to start hosting, I didn't have to, but I wanted to start hosting free trainings that would teach people how to do social media for their business and why they should do it. I didn't charge for it. I offered it for free because I realized people weren't going to hire me because they couldn't figure it out if they wanted to. They were going to hire me because they didn't want to do it, one. And two, they wanted to run their business and grow their business. So by offering these free trainings, it just empowered them to understand social more and then want to hire us more. Now, looking at that, I was like, I want to do this on a bigger scale because there's not a conference like I attended Social Media Marketing World. There wasn't anything like that around here in our community. And I thought, you know what? I would love for the people, like-minded individuals that really truly get how to show up in business and the changes that are coming. And we're in this Midwest area where there's a community of makers and entrepreneurs here, and it is like 80 something percent of who creates all the jobs around here, but they need to be taught the right way of business. So I started hosting social media week Lima based upon like what I had seen at Social Media Marketing World. And the relationships I had built, I had invited those speakers to come in and speak to some of our area businesses and do it at a fraction of a cost because they couldn't afford or didn't understand the value of paying $2,000, $1,500 ticket. So we kept it very reasonable. 2 days here where people could drive in, and it grew to the largest social media conference in the Midwest. But then more importantly than that, it grew into a community that it wasn't just about the event. People stayed connected after the event and they were starting to co-create with each other. They started supporting each other's businesses. They stayed in touch, and our Facebook group stays active all year round, and people look up or look forward to the event that's coming around the corner, because they know it's a group of people that truly get it and want to see each other succeed. Because when you do know who you are and you do know how you show up differently, you don't see competition. You see somebody that's complimentary. You're like, hey, I see that you do the same exact thing I do, but I know you're not doing it the same way that I'm doing it. And I want to see all of us win, because there's enough work for all of us out there. When you get clear on who you are and who you serve, there's not a scarcity mindset anymore. And it's a beautiful thing, because then you don't worry about it. You just keep doing your thing and cheering other people on, and they will cheer you back on and keep supporting you as well.
Okay, hold on. If your mindset was shifted, you were inspired to innovate, and you were spurred into action, don't just move on with your day. Focus, my friend, and take a few minutes to visit CEOmischiefmaker.com to learn more about the value that was shared with you today. Please act now and create some CEO mischief of your own.